Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are working on the 2006 Chevy HHR 2.2 LT. We are going to show you how to change a valve cover gasket on one of these engines. I've noticed that I have a little bit of a small leak on the rear side of this motor, and I have some on the actual side over here as well. So we're going to show you what we have to do to basically solve this issue. First of all, what we're gonna do, you need to get yourself a flathead screwdriver. So you want to be sure you have that handy. And let's see, be sure you get you at least one of your little small ratchets like this size here. And this is a Pittsburgh brand. And you want to get at least a small, I'm trying to figure out where all my 10 millimeters are. I know they're really difficult to find anymore. I think this is it. I'm looking to see. Alright, and you can get a small 10 millimeter to basically get the little bolt off to be able to get the plastic filter housing off. That's what I call it. Alright, what you do is there's one bolt right there, the one that's rusted. You're gonna have to take that off. That just keeps, basically, hold on one second. Basically keeps this thing from freaking rattling around. So make sure you get your 10 millimeter in there, lefty loosey, righty tighty, wiggle it halfway out. So then you can stick your fingers in there. Be careful not to rub your fingers against this because it seems to will cut your fingers really good if you're not careful. Then you can take your fingers and you can twist it off by hand. Now, just so you know, this engine has 220k miles on it. And this is what the bolt looks like. This is a 10 millimeter bolt. It's always best to use one of these so you can keep track of all your damn bolts instead of throwing them in the motor and throwing up here like the old school way. I don't really do that much anymore. Alright. Then you come over here and take your flathead screwdriver, which is needed, and you're gonna have to take off this hose here. Now you can't really see it because it's freaking daytime. It's in the garage. Alright, hold on, people. Trying to get it. Sorry if it's kind of dark. Loosen it enough so you can basically pull this thing off. Then you should be able to make sure you get this off a little bit and disconnect your mass flow air sensor cord. And there's your cable, your connector for the mass flow air. As you can tell, this is in really good shape. So now we're gonna pull this off gently. And these things here are kind of easy to pull off. As you can see, here it is, right here. And just so you know, give y'all a heads up, your air filter then this thing is actually inside here. You'd have to unscrew, was it 1, 2, 3? And you got 3 more on the back. These are star bit, as you can see. I don't remember what size, but you take that off to replace it and put a new one in there. And this is the worm hose that I'm missing. This is the connector that I'm glad I kept, because I got to go online to order another hose because mine was dry rotted. And I recommend getting a hard plastic one or a metal one, something durable than that rubber piece of crap that comes with them. But using without it, it doesn't really harm anything. And this is your mass flow air sensor too, just so you know. If you ever need to replace it, it's there. It's connected here. Shows you how many pins are actually on here, and it's got 2 star bit screws. You pull that out. This one's actually brand new, and you put it back in. And that's also what it looks like when it goes through. Alright. This is what the Ecotech VVT looks like without the housing on the top. And as you can tell, it's in perfect shape. It's a little dirty. It's been a while since I cleaned it, so I'm going to do that today too. Just to give you all a little more of an example, these are your 2 VVTs. And when you do take these off, these 2 are actually different, because there are 2 different color codes on these things here, and make sure you actually plug them up to the right one, so you don't have any issues. And these are your coils. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and you got the connectors, which are 1, 2, 3, 4. And be sure when you take these off that you do not break these connectors. They're just push downs, really easy, and just you push down and you pull out. And you got to take this off. These you don't have to take off. They'll just pull right out with this. Just disconnect these and be easy. And these things will leak oil if you don't put them back in correctly anyway. And it had done that at one time. And as you can see, these are your bolts. You got 1 there. You got 2. You got 3. You got 4, you got 5, you got 6, and you got 7, and you got 8, and you got 9, and you got 10, and possibly there's another one over here, which is probably 11. Actually, it's right here. Another one. My numbers might be out. I'm just showing you what it looks like, you know, what you got to take off. And you got to take your 10mm socket, ratchet, or screwdriver and take these out, these bolts. I recommend marking them as far as these plugs, so where you know exactly where they hook back up to. The coils don't really matter because they're all the same ones. It's just these that really matter. Get like some blue tape or some duct tape, mark some numbers on them so you know you don't get them mixed up. And normally I don't see how you really could because of how short these wires are. I mean, it should be really easy to determine. Just be sure you plug this back up or your motor is going to run like a motherfucker. Excuse my language, but yeah, it will run rough. Or it may not run at all when you try to crank it. And once you get all those off, then you'll get to your gasket. Then you'll have to replace all that with new stuff and clean inside of this out. But I am going to make a part 2 video here once I get this off. And I'll explain more about that. Also be sure when you got this off, go ahead and check your throttle body. Be sure it doesn't need to be clean because these things are well known to have poor engine performance and engine disabled issues. So keep that in mind. So let me get this apart and I will make a video part 2. Alright, so hoping y'all like this video and subscribe today.